Always good men are hard to find and never, wait, I'm hard to find.
Yes to literally everything she is saying. I used to think about this concept a lot. When I was single, I had a good guy friend, loved him to death. And one day we were like kind of breaking down the statistics of what I was describing and what I wanted in a partner. And he was saying, it's like 5% or whatever of the population that's actually going to meet this criteria. And I remember in that moment realizing that I wasn't asking for anything that I myself already do not possess. I wasn't asking for anything that I myself was not already. I have a good steady job. I'm ambitious. I prioritize my health and my body. And of course, there were a lot of other things that I was describing that weren't superficial as well. A lot of things that had to do with like mindset. But I knew that overall what I was looking for was not going to be easy to find, which made sense because I knew that I am also not easy to find. I'm also rare. So of course, this could take a while. But I remember that such peace came over to me when I made this realization. I didn't need to be in a hurry. I wasn't losing time. I wasn't doing anything wrong per se. It's just the nature of what this is. It's two rare people trying to find each other and also having to have the compatibility and personality alignment that's needed to have a healthy, happy relationship. Literally, don't search in the meantime. Just live. I feel like the best way to find a partner that is really right for you is to not like go searching for them. I will speak from experience. It is very, very much worth the wait.
Yeah, I get what you're saying before we go to the next clip, but you are what you're searching for. And that's the unfortunate thing. You're that. So you don't really need two of yourself, right? It's one thing to search for an ambitious man, but a lot of times beautiful women like this, modern women, will say, well, I possess this, so this is what I should get. And it's like a one-to-one for them. And instead of saying, well, I'm ambitious in doing nails, but he's really good at running his own mechanic shop. They don't want that. Like he's a mechanic and he's like a manager. Like maybe he doesn't have his own shop, but he's the manager of the shop. They don't want that. Oh, he's got to own his own business because I own my own business. That's not necessarily the way that it needs to go. Maybe you have the skill set to say you're a manager now, but here are the tools that I used to run my own business. And so maybe, just maybe, I can help you look for a place where you can get all the tools and supplies, and then you can elevate yourself to an owner as well. And I'll help you with that. And you help me with some other things that maybe I could use in my business that I didn't look at from my perspective. So I think a lot of times for modern women, they blind themselves based on a one-to-one or a limited perspective of this is how I see it and this is how it's got to be, when good men are right underneath their noses, walking right past them. Not to say that you're not a good person or a good woman, but it's just maybe you're thinking about dating and relationships in a more limited view, I would say, without trying to be too harsh.
Very, very much worth the wait.
Over the past few years, there's been this new rule that if a guy doesn't confirm the date day of, you pretend you've made other plans. And I think this is so overused and obvious. Don't get me wrong, I 100% think the guy should text and confirm the date day of, but I'm someone who likes to know what the plan is and know how my day is gonna go. So if I haven't heard from the guy day of, I'll reach out to confirm. Is it a little annoying? Sure. Do I like someone who's proactive? Yes. But I also know life happens and people have other things going on, and sometimes there's just a miscommunication where the other person thinks everything is confirmed and ready to go. And let's get this straight. I'm not reaching out to help them out. I'm reaching out because I like to know sooner than later if a date is happening or not. Because if not, then I will make other plans or get super excited to do absolutely nothing. And if we do end up going on that date, best believe that if they ask me anything around what I'm looking for or the type of partner I want, I will say proactive, someone who takes charge, and someone who is communicative. Another idea is to give yourself a time frame. And if they don't reach out by that time, you can reach out and just say, hey, I haven't heard from you. I'm going to assume that this date isn't happening. Let's reschedule on another day and time. People are not mind readers, so tell them what your expectations are. Listen, I love a man who plans and who is proactive, but I think we create a lot of these rules and frameworks that make our dating lives a little more difficult. So instead, set your boundaries, say your expectations, and do what you want.
This is good, clear communication. And I actually left a comment on her video that said, this is fantastic. Obviously on this channel and a lot of different other channels, we talk about what women don't do and what they should be doing. And it's always good to recognize when a woman does something that you've been asking her to do. Hey, we need you to communicate instead of batting your eyes across the club and looking and rolling your eyes and saying that was your sign to come. Then this is something that you can clearly communicate and clearly comprehend and say, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I just got too busy. My bad. I forgot about everything. Let's get together on this time or whatever. Right. And if there's no response, then you know, okay, cool. But that's what you need to do, is take back control over your schedule and say, you know, I don't know if we're going. I haven't heard anything. So I'm just going to assume it's not happening, and, you know, no hard feelings, you know, thank you for your time, and let that be it. And that's it, man. Like, you don't got to get mad. You don't got to do whatever they got going on. Let them have that and go on about your life.
I'm just trying to talk to your pay the bill looking ass.
Dang.
I'm just trying to have a conversation. Bro, you throwing me off. I mean, you drive fetish. I'm trying to break another leg in you. Bro, you living in this old ass building.
Don't worry about it.
Joe's apartment ass junk, bro.
Dang.
You talking too much to me. What's in that bag, bro?
I was running this gym. The black manager was telling me, yeah, you don't gotta worry about the guys. They're not checking for you anyway. I said, huh? He's like, yeah, you're a black girl. They're not looking at you. I said,
Dang.
Okay. And at first I'm like, that's fine. Like, you know, I'm just here for the workout. It's not that big of a deal. But they literally don't even make eye contact. And if they do, they look away kind of scared. Like, I frighten them. I do work out in Orange County. So, you know, what can I say?
Now, at first, people were upset about this. But the backstory is that she actually had a question about this because she had been touring a lot of different gyms. And apparently she had trouble at the other gyms with not feeling safe, I guess, or feeling like people were a little bit too much in her space, staring at her. And so she decided, I'm going to go to another gym, find another trainer, change my environment. And so that's how this question came about. Is she was talking to them previously to her saying this, and they said, oh, hey, don't worry about that. These guys, they're not even interested in that, like, your type, like the aesthetic. It sounds bad. It sounds terrible. But for her, what she said in her follow-up video is, it wasn't a problem for me because I didn't want to be bothered. I just wanted to come in there and work out.
This man just made the grave mistake of catcalling me from his car while I was walking my dog.
Okay, I think most people would consider that to be rather childish and rude, but why are we making a video about it?
I looked up his license plate.
Oh dear.
And did you know it's really easy to find someone's address? Yeah.
Criminal.
Now, why exactly would a person do that?
Do you know how easy it is to mail someone a box of wasps and asbestos and other things that they probably don't want to open?
Okay, well, personally, I don't approve of catcalling from anyone to anyone. However, I'm not quite sure that it needs to resort to this level of sending harmful things through the mail. Pretty sure there's a law about that.
Exactly.
Anyway.
These women be involved in crime, be telling on themselves, and nobody be holding them accountable. That's crazy to me.
Protect female rage.
I don't think I would call that so much rage, more
That's
as
crime.
an extreme overreaction to an individual's, albeit rude, behavior.
Fellas, when you're talking to a woman, why do you say stuff like, well, if we end up together? What do you mean, if we end up together? Baby, you are mine the moment you start liking my videos. You are mine the moment you start slipping into my DMs. If we end up together.
Girl, you
We're
crazy.
already together. That's what you signed up for the moment you started talking to me.
So I went on a first date. It was actually a Hinge date, and we had been talking on Hinge for like less than a week when he asked me out. And then I said yes, of course. In my head I was like, is it a bit soon? But then I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not the kind of person who wants to be talking. I don't want to be getting to know you over text. I want to be getting to know you on the first date. Like, that's the way it's supposed to be. So I get the girls there. My girls are at the place that we're meeting. We were meeting at a bar, and I was actually a small bit late, and I texted him when I was on my way there being like, oh, sorry, like my bus came late, I'm running a bit late, but I am on the way. And he was so lovely about it. And then I get there and I apologize again. He was so chill. He was like, no, like, honestly, it's fine. Then we spent the whole night talking and laughing. I would say it was a really, really good date. I met the girls in the bathroom and they were like, Eva, it looks like it's going really, really well. I was like, it feels like it's going really well. Like, he seems like an absolute gentleman. We're leaving, it's time to go home. He walks me to like taxi rank to get a taxi. He's just walking home because he lives kind of like relatively near. I live a small bit out of the city. So he walks me there, and when we were on the way there, he starts pulling out his wallet. He was like, no, I've got this. And I was like, absolutely under no circumstance are you paying for my taxi home. That's not necessary whatsoever. And he was like, oh yeah, whatever. So then we arrive at the taxi and he says, oh, like, can I see you again next week? I was like, okay, sure, I'll see you next week. Great. Then he pays for the taxi anyway. It's like, I kept being like, no, like, you do not need to do this. He just hands the taxi driver cash and there's nothing I can do about it. He closed the car door for me. At this point, I was like on the point of being like, just hop in. Anyway, I did not do that. Before closing my door, he said, like, text me when you get home. I said, yeah, you do the same. We both did. It was fine. He texted me the day after. And we were kind of talking that morning, not like a huge amount, but we were talking that morning and into the afternoon. Then at 5:30, I sent a text just replying to the conversation. And he didn't reply to it for a while. And now it is almost 7:30 the following day and he still hasn't opened it. And this is just your reminder that if you think that you're at a point in your life where you're thinking like, maybe there's some decent man out there, maybe, this is just me reminding you that there isn't, and that they're all trash, and I don't know what any of them are doing, really. And that's...
I can see how you feel like that. She's cute. I don't know if I would have done the ghosting thing. I think that's what it sounds like he did. I don't know if I'd have done that. I'd have probably, just sent her a text or a call. I mean, I know those are hard conversations, but that's what I would have done. I would have sent her a text message or a call to say, hey, man, I had a really great time last night, but I was going over and I was thinking about some things, and I don't know that we would be good for a relationship because of these things. And it'd be specific things, whatever you decide it to be. But I would be truthful about it because we're grown. And so it's just, I mean, if they don't like it, then it is what it is. But you don't have to be mean or a jerk about it. But just, this is how I feel. I don't really see us moving forward. That's what I would have done.
What this story time was about.
Y'all want to know some that I've done to men that I will never, ever regret?
Oh, this should be good.
Years ago, I was dating a guy for like 6 to 8 months, right?
Okay.
During those 6 to 8 months, he called me to tell me that he lost his job. I was like, okay. I waited 2 hours. I said, hey, let's meet up for a drink or something to eat or something like that. And he was like, okay, yeah, sure. As soon as we get to the spot, I look him dead in the face and I said, hey, it's not going to work out between us.
I beg your pardon?
And he was like, what? Are you being serious? And I was like, yes, I am. He was like, why are you breaking up with me? Is it because I don't have a job? And I was like, funny you said that. That's exactly why I'm breaking up with you.
Well, do you ever care about this man?
And then he goes, wow, you are a gold digger. And I was like, yeah, and you really are a broke ass. So look at us. I think you're evil. Evil. And he was like, wow, you really gonna leave me over me not having a job? Like I'm not gonna go get one? And I was like, no. And he tried to make me feel bad that I was breaking up with him because he no longer had a job. And I was like, I do not care.
Now that part I don't agree with. You just leave that person alone, but you never make them feel bad for doing whatever it is they want to do.
The fact that you even thought that I was going to be your fixer is crazy to me.
I don't think that's what he was asking for. I think he was just saying that he lost his job. I think if it were me, it would just been a part of communication. Hey, I lost my job, looking for something else, that sort of thing. But women like this wonder why they can't find good men. You attract negativity because that's who you are. Like, once again, birds of a feather flock together. And there's a lot of modern women out there like that have this same exact attitude, and they wonder why men don't want them. They wonder why they're not attracting positivity and goodness. When I'm doing well in my career, I'm successful. Do you ever stop to think that maybe that attitude that got you to where you are might be the problem? Sure, there are some good qualities about you, but maybe if you were to kind of poll the people that you work with and they were honest, maybe they might see, man, she's a hard worker. She's doing good in this area, but man, she's kind of a jerk in this other area. That might be a thing. And the fact that you're here on social media talking about how heartless you can be is not a good sign for a lot of men. High value, low value, whatever you want to call them.
I'm a little confused. Who said he was going to need you to be his fixer?
Exactly.
It sounds to me like he was just communicating to his girlfriend.
There you go.
About the situation, about what's going on. But continue.
Is wild to me. The fact that you even wanted to tell me that information without just going out there and getting a job and being like, hey, by the way, I got a new job instead of, hey, I lost my job is crazy to me. So therefore, I want no part in it.
So you women always say you want a man to be open and honest with you, but when he's open and honest with you, you tell him not to do that. So you really don't want us to share stuff with you.
That, and what if you were like, hey man, let's go on a date, and he's not doing it? It's like, well, I lost my job. Why didn't you tell me that a long time ago? Well, because you didn't want me to tell you that until I got another job. And now I'm telling you I don't have a job because you forced it out of me.
Got it.
I don't want to know your sad story. I don't want to be Captain Save. No, none of that.
You don't want to know my sad story? People get fired every day, ma'am. You might get fired. You wouldn't want to tell the person that's in your life?
None of that. That's something you call and tell your parents.
She joking.
You tell your homeboy. You tell your friend. You don't tell me.
She's joking.
I don't care. That's not my problem. All I hear is, hey, I'm going to start being cheap and mean to you.
He's going to start being cheap and mean to you.
This is a joke.
That's what I hear when you say, I ain't got a job. And guess what? I run on the first red flag, baby.
So he had a job and that was fine. But once he lost a job, that's the red flag. I got it. And I know all women don't move like this, but this right here, fellas, is what you have to pay attention to.
Crazy work.
This is why when you're dating these women and they're only looking at what you can do for them, this is the type of mindset these women have. Soon as you don't have it no more, they're out. All these ballers you see with these women, if those dudes ever go broke, those women are going to be gone too. Soon as his money go out the window, those women are going to go right out the window with it. Dating women with character, morals, and values is where it's at, fellas. You better stop chasing these baddies because they will leave you in a bad situation just like this chick did him.
Bars.
She didn't ask him if he had savings, a plan.
She not even that bad.
What he was going to do next. She didn't ask him anything. She just dumped him because she never really cared anyway. That tells me that she was the only one benefiting in that relationship. There's no way you're going to be able to convince me that she was contributing to that relationship in the same fashion that he was if she pulled something like this. This is sad, man.
That's it. That's exactly it. Modern women, like I said, wonder why they can't find a good man. Where are all the good men? You run them off with your bad attitude. That's where they are. Be a little bit more careful about what you put out there on social media. You be out here with your behind all out, your chest all out, saying anything and everything, popping it on some random dude in the club, knowing full well that if a dude was doing that with women, and I should say a dude in there popping it on another dude in the club, it's like, that's not my style. So it's just, yeah, man, if a man were to be in there on every single woman, you'd have a serious problem with that, right? But you expect a man to be disciplined. You expect a man to be able to control himself and to be able to communicate, right? So in this scenario, I give it's like, hey man, you don't have a job, you know, maybe a month or so, give him a couple of months, right? But, you know, losing a job is a natural part of a relationship. I would venture to say, if you get married, you're a long-term committed relationship, somebody's going to lose a job, job's going to play out, because that's what happens over the course of life. You just lose a job, lose a relation, just lose an opportunity, whatever it is, and you learn how to build back. That's why it's important that you pick somebody who knows how to help and support in those different times. But apparently she's not on board with that. And it's good for him that he is released from this relationship at this moment. Anyway, that's just my opinion. And until the next video, I'm out.